guys, it's Nurse Jay, Nursing the Truth. I hope everyone is having a great Friday. Yes, I'm getting my days and nights mixed up. Yes, my little Jack Russell is keeping me up at night and been working and taking care of people. And so I get kind of, dumbstruck from time to time. So, anyway, hope all is having a great day. So I hope you have been enjoying my little Piso and Josephus series. Now, friends, you have to get these books. Suetonius, the 12 Caesars. Tacitus, the Annals of Imperial Rome. And the Letters of Pliny the Younger. And Josephus's Antiquities of the Jews that you can get at your local library, that has the War of the Jews, the life, and the antiquities of the Jews, and against Apion. They're all together. Now, I just came out with a video about, was Nero really bad, is what the historians want to say, because the writers always write the history. The bad guys, it seems like, gets to talk about the people that they kill. And so really, do we get the honest truth in history? Doubt it. So anyway, friends, that's a good video. And I'm sorry at the end of the video, I cut it off because I didn't realize my husband got home early. So I didn't want to keep making the video when he came in. So anyway, sorry for the rude interruption. So let's talk about this. So as we know, the writers of the New Testament, Josephus, which that is a pen name, that is not his real name. It's Arius Piso. And his whole bloodline, the Piso family, was always in conspiracy from way back into the BCE era. Now, Julius Caesar did marry into the Piso family through his wife Calpurnia, but they never had children. But these bloodlines were all interconnected. Julius Caesar thought that marrying the Piso daughter would bring the two bloodlines together where they could rule. But the Pisos were called like the little Caesars, and they always felt like they had the upper hand, and so they were always trying to get to the top. Well, friends, they did get to the top. They wrote a menagerie of epistles and texts and apocryphers, and they have brought us where we are today. But when you start peeling back the onion, you will see how dirty this web is. Now, for the past several days since my last video, I've been reading nonstop these 3 books. And because Josephus has many, many pen names, whether it be Calpurnius Piso, Arius Piso, Montanus, Florus, Gallus, Primus, Arius Antonius, Antonius Primus, you name it, you got it, Toyota. And in these books, all of his pen names are in here, friends, and it goes hand in hand about the campaigns in Judea and Syria. And little Sonny wants to join. Yes, you sweetie. You want to be in the videos? Anyway, so little Russell, you need to sit down. So there you go. So anyway, the Piso family, they were already Roman. They were from Italy, and they were long-standing governors in Syria. And as you know, Syria and Parthia were always at it some points or another, and then Rome comes in, and Rome and Syria and Parthia have their issues. Um, so let's start off with this. As we know, Julius Caesar dies. Gaius Cassius Longinus, after being stabbed about 23 times, the last stab wound to the heart killed Julius Caesar, who was deified as a god. A lot of people did like Caesar. He did a lot of good things. So then we have Tiberius. Tiberius was a crazy freak. He liked to have a lot of orgies. He went to Capri, which was an island, and he ruled from Capri to the people of Rome. He was very out there. Caligula, he adopted a Caligula as the next emperor. They were of the bloodline anyway, but Caligula got it. Caligula's father was Germanicus, which was poisoned by Piso, and Tiberius was behind the poisoning, and Germanicus was kept at Capri with Tiberius, and he had a lot of influence under Tiberius and did a lot of things, mischief and orgies, and married like 4 times, and so now with the Caligula thing, as one of the Pisos was getting married, I think it was Gaius Calpurnius Piso, I want to say Josephus' father, got married. Caligula took her and said that he was married to her on the same day of the wedding of Piso. This is all in the books, people. So he had his happy way with her. So now I'm just wondering, really, was Josephus actually Caligula's son under a Piso name? You understand what I'm saying? Because now Caligula had his way with the wifey and banished Piso out of Rome. But Piso's wife had a child. Now, Josephus, Arius Calpurnius Piso, was born in 37, and Caligula's reign was 37 to 41. You do the math. So, anywho, so Caligula was killed as well with another Piso conspiracy. Claudius now is the emperor. That is Caligula's uncle, and he is called back Piso in 41 to co-counsel with him. A lot of good things happened in Claudius's reign, where he let Rhodes be free from Roman occupation or Roman rule, and he also did not tax Tyre. That's also in your internet if you want to look at that, about Claudius, and he also carried an Egyptian pharaoh name. He did a lot of good things for Rome. He was, from what I've read, he was a good emperor. But then he got killed, poisoned by Agrippina the Younger, which was Nero's mother. Claudius had adopted Nero as his son. So now you understand the term adopted as my son. Even you will find in the Old Testament where it says in Psalms 22, I believe, that God had adopted David as his only son. But that was also a Pharaonic term, because Tutmosis was also adopted as a son, because there was issues with Hatshepsut and all of that, and the 18th dynasty. So now you see where it comes from. So anyway, Now we have a situation where Claudius dies. Nero is the adopted son, even though he's of the Julian Claudian dynasty. He's now emperor. And Nero does a lot of great things too. And he, um, now I'm not saying that his mother wasn't whacked out. I'm sure she was to a degree, but they didn't like her either. Um, she did do some bad things from what we're told with Caligula. He slept with all of his sisters. Um, so now Nero is ruling. And then we have the Piso conspiracy in 65. Now it's a situation to where Josephus' father is trying to get rid of Nero. It's a situation now that Claudius is gone, and he's been ruling long enough, Nero, and we want to get rid of him. So Nero was from 54 to 68 when he died. And they didn't want him ruling any longer. Because, see, they had a plan. Tiberius's reign, they wanted to make a new religion from what I have been researching under Roman Piso. You can go look him up in the computer. He has lots of documents under academia.edu. All you have to do is put Roman Piso in, Josephus's Calpurnus Piso, and you've got it. The wide world web is open to you. So now Nero is exiling people, and he gets Seneca, his tutor, he gets him killed. He suicides, and Josephus' father, he gets commanded to commit suicide. He exiles Josephus. Now, what is quite funny is if you go look into the 12 Caesars, it talks about all of this stuff as well. And it's like Nero kind of had a little mercy on the younger Piso, and that he let him go and he exiled him. In Nero's biography, it said that the wife of Josephus was crying because he was going to be exiled. So let's see here. He knew that a lot of people were in on something, but he really couldn't put his finger on it. He banished a lot of the philosophers. And basically what this was called was a Stoic philosopher kind of like plot. He wanted to get these people out, and Domitian was like that as well. And I'm trying to find in here what he said about that. It's quite interesting. He also now this is what Suetonius said about Nero and Poppaea. He said, though he doted on Poppaea, whom he married 12 days after his divorce, he kicked her to death while she was pregnant and ill. He kicked her to death while she was pregnant and ill because she complained that he came home late from the races. Poppaea had borne him a daughter, Claudia Augusta, who died in infancy. Well, how can that be? Because in one verse, he's saying he kicked her to death while she was pregnant. But then on the next part, she bore him a daughter. So, you know. But Tacitus, what does he say? Tacitus says that he doesn't believe that was true, that he loved her very much and that he wanted children. Well, he did have a child. So, in the 12 Caesars, it says here that Nero had discovered two plots against his life. The earlier and more important one of the two was Piso's conspiracy in Rome. The other had been headed by Vincenus. When brought up for trial, the conspirators were loaded with 3 sets of chains. Some, while admitting their guilt, made it seem like a favor when they claimed that by destroying a man so thoroughly steeped in evil as Nero, they would have been doing him the greatest possible service. All the children of the condemned men were banished from Rome and then starved to death or poisoned. Well, I'm sorry, friends. Josephus wasn't starved and he wasn't poisoned. Okay, let's see what else. Because I have a lot of these things that were highlighted in my book that I like to read. Okay, so now we have Epaphroditus. It says, then with the help of his secretary, Epaphroditus, he stabbed himself in the throat and was already half dead when the centurion entered, pretending to have rushed to his rescue and staunched the wound with his cloak. Nero muttered, too late, but ah, what fidelity. He died with eyes glazed and bulging from their sockets, a sight which horrified everybody present. So, Epaphroditus was also Josephus's friend in the Antiquities of the Jews. You can look back and see that in his life's works. Nero just wanted things to go, as usual. He liberated people from Greece. There's coins. You can look that up in the internet. Coins. The liberation of Greece. And kind of cutting taxes for people as well. He was friends. Him and Claudius were friends with King Agrippa. And Nero lived as a child and would go spend days with King Agrippa. Kind of like in a secluded area where a lot of prophets would stay. So they didn't like that. The Pisos did not like that at all. They wanted to make sure that Nero was not going to cut taxes. He was going to be hard on the people. The people liked Nero. They did. I mean, they would bow to him. They were happy. They gave him a lot of parades, and he was awesome. So, now Nero grew up in very poor circumstances, under the care of his aunt, Demeta Lepida, who chose a dancer and a barber to be his tutors. However, when Claudius became emperor, Nero had his inheritance restored to him and a legacy from his uncle by marriage. Pausanias Crispus left him well off, and so therefore that's where you get Seneca comes in from there. Um, you just have to read to get the understanding of how this really worked out, and what happened. Now, Gnaeus, now this is Josephus in Suetonius's works. It says, Gnaeus left one son, without any doubt the best member of the family. Although he had taken no part in Caesar's assassination, he was condemned to die as a conspirator under the Pedian law, and subsequently threw in his lot with his relatives Cassius and Brutus. After their deaths, he continued to command and even to enlarge the Pompeian fleet, on which he had been made commander, and would not surrender to Antony and his associates. Okay, well, this is another family member of the Pisos. I'm sorry, not Josephus, because Antony was way earlier than Josephus. But anyway, it's the same family member. Because, like I said, there's so many. There's Lucius, Gnaeus, all these Pisos. There are like tons of them in the BC era. So now, when Nero dies, you have Galba, Otho, and Vitellius. And the Pisos were involved in Galba as well. And when it came down to Titus, Josephus was in Syria as governor, president, or whatever, and he was also a general fighting with the Jews. And he, in his writings, he kind of tells you like a Jewish perspective, but he's writing in a Jewish mind, but he's actually telling you what he did to the Jews as a Roman. No, excuse me. He does have both sets of bloodlines, like the Hasmoneans and, the Romans. They're all mixed. Ptolemies, Caesars, Herodians, the Antonians, or Antonies. It's just a web, and once you start peeling back the webs, you're like, oh my God, this is too much. So anyway, I want to make another video and to continue, because I don't want to bore you with a long video. But anyway, me and little Sunny, we hope you have enjoyed this little enlightening video, and we will see you soon. Hotep and Ashe, my friends. Good day.